following is a special presentation of HBO's Sports of the 20th Century.
And right now, Thomas Hearns is an open book for Ray Leonard. Backs up against the ropes.
This is one of the most unusual calls by a referee in the history of the sport.
The first loss. A tremendous victory. Leonard fighting off the ropes.
It happened. It happened. An uppercut by Douglas. Down goes Tyson.
Thompson, right hand shot.
Excellent. Knocks out by Tyson.
Slumps to the canvas.
The champion struggles to stay on his feet.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. Welcome to this look back at the stories behind Pryor Arguello, one of the most memorable fights in 30 years of boxing on HBO. The early 1980s marked a golden era in boxing below the heavyweight division as fighters like Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran filled the stardom gap left behind by Muhammad Ali. But maybe the greatest action fight of the era matched a man aching for the spotlight, Aaron Pryor, against the class and charm of Nicaraguan mini-media darling Alexis Arguello.
The fates were not totally kind to Aaron Pryor.
Aaron Pryor was the original bad luck kid.
He always had everything against him. He was a bad guy.
He could never be the matinee idol. He could never be the good guy.
Alexis Arguello is one of the most gracious people in or out of the ring.
He was the embodiment of all the things that I loved about sports.
Arguello, the conquistador, the hero figure.
He was an easy guy to root for.
Kind of a Spanish Don, a true sportsman.
He exemplifies the word champion.
Usually in boxing, one of the fighters is portrayed as this gallant figure, and the other is sort of portrayed as Grendel.
Aaron Pryor was born the fifth of 7 children in a Cincinnati ghetto. He gravitated to a career as violent as his upbringing.
I have a very violent family. The impression my mom always gave us, if somebody hit you, you better hit them back. And she used to pop me in here. She said, why you don't move your head when I hit you? I was like, Mama, I didn't know I was supposed to move my head.
He doesn't really have a lot of guidance as a child. And he walks into a gym one day. And here's a sport that he's good at, and he gets attention. You know, here's an older guy, a coach, paying attention to him, which he didn't necessarily have that guidance growing up.
I used to be frustrated that nobody in my family came to see me fight. My amateur fights, when I fought in Russia, Poland, Germany, Mexico, didn't nobody even know I was gone.
I think there was a lot of pain that he was dealing with inside. I think he suppressed a lot of things, and those actions came out when he entered the ring.
Pryor on the ball of his feet. He beat everybody in amateur. He's one of our top amateur fighters of all time.
In '76, he won the National Gold Glove Championship in Miami, Florida. Beat the heck out of Tommy Hearns.
Pryor is your champion.
Leading up to the 1976 Olympics, Pryor was marked as America's best bet to win a gold medal in boxing.
Aaron, I didn't see it, but I've been told by the guys that were there, Aaron was so good in that weight class. Ray moved up. Ray Leonard moved up to get away from Aaron Pryor.
But when the famed '76 boxing team arrived in Montreal, Aaron Pryor remained in Cincinnati, reeling from a controversial loss in the Olympic trials.
I truly believe that if I'd have made the Olympic team, that I would have been a lot more successful than I was.
He was so upset about not making the Olympic Games that he stood in front of a mirror and he hit himself. He hit himself.
Saw Sugar Ray Leonard and him. He felt he always belonged in that group and in that class. When he saw them get the big contracts and the money, it broke his heart.
Ray Leonard, Howard Davis, and the Spinks brothers, Michael and Leon, won gold medals and signed lucrative television contracts. With no Olympic recognition, Aaron Pryor took a job as a sparring partner for Howard Davis, the man who beat him in the Olympic trials.
I was making $500 a week working for Howard Davis. Hey, I beat him up a couple of times. I lost my job.
For 3 years, Aaron Pryor pummeled overmatched opponents. Still, crowds were thin, everywhere but his hometown, Cincinnati.
I was making a couple thousand, $2,000, $3,000 a fight. Howard Davis and them was making $1 million, $1.5 million.
Back then, if you weren't made into something special by the networks, then you really weren't anything special.
Unable to draw a title shot despite a record of 23-0, Pryor moved out of the lightweight division. In only his second fight as a junior welterweight, Pryor faced Antonio Kid Cervantes for the title.
In the second round, Cervantes knocked him down. And the referee was counting, and he was smiling at Cervantes. Oh, now you really want to fight. And he got up and he just destroyed Cervantes. And from then on, it was all Aaron Pryor. His talent was just tremendous.
That was Aaron Pryor. He would take your best punch, spit in your eye, and then kick your ass.
What time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
Pryor was one of those early inner city fighters who came with an entourage of people making noise and threats and charging themselves up.
And he always had this chorus, you know, everywhere he went.
Yeah, I got a bunch of guys. What time is it? Hawk time.
What time is it?
His need for love, his need for family, his need for I am somebody was just tremendous.
What time is it? Hawk time. What time is it? Hawk time.
What time is it?
Hawk time. You know, after a while it was all right. We know what time it is.
But the spectacle surrounding Pryor rarely caught the attention of big-name opponents. A dangerous fighter with meager earning potential, few marquee boxers took the risk of fighting Aaron Pryor.
Who do you want to fight next?
I want to fight Leonard because I feel like I'm the king of the junior welterweights for what I've already done.
A bout with Sugar Ray Leonard offered the surest path to a world-class payday. But Pryor's challenges were repeatedly dismissed.
I had just been asked that you want to challenge me, and that you knock me down and I knock you down. And
we've had workouts when we were amateur. I actually knocked him down as a pro and an amateur. What do you know? He knows me.
Me and Leonard, you know, I worked with him for flat 3 or 4 before he became Mr. Leonard. And
there was a little rivalry there, always was. But I know one thing, whenever they'd be in the ring working out, Aaron used to give him a working over.
I just beat the #1 contender in my weight division. I ain't got nothing to prove there. So why not come up?
This is my show, pal. Go ahead. Any other questions, please?
I want to fight. I want to fight. I beat Tommy Hearns.
Aaron Pryor was being shortchanged by history, if not opponents. He needed a marquee name.
Alexis Arguello was a classic boxer. And by that I mean every time you throw a punch, an opening is left. And a great boxer knows what that opening is immediately.
Under 30 seconds to go.
He was like a bullfighter in there.
Oh, big right hand.
And that was the art that I loved.
By 1981, Alexis Arguello had been crowned champion in 3 divisions, yet he remained relatively anonymous to the American public. However, no fighter earned greater respect within the boxing community.
If there was a person that embodied the whole idea of the sweet science, it was Alexis Arguello.
He was the first guy that started going to the opponent and giving the credit they need or they deserve for being in the ring like with a guy like him.
He's hurt against him. He's hurt badly this time. Down he goes.
Arguello's popularity crested when he beat the popular brawler Ray Boom Boom Mancini in 1981. Mancini's ailing father, whose promising fight career was ended by an injury suffered in World War II, was on hand.
I love your father. That's the most beautiful thing you have, like I have my father, and I promise if I can do something for you, let me know, please. Thank you.
5 minutes ago, this guy was a raging tornado, crazed dog who had just beaten the crap out of this kid. And now he's got his arm around him and telling him how he loved his father. His father was crying.
That's what we're talking about.
He wanted to hurt some Americans.